Fish on!
Fish on!
Amanda's got a fish on.
I got one on. Uh-oh.
Life
Swimming
is...
towards the boat.
Look at this massive head, you guys. This is so
crazy.
cool. Look, he's turning blue. His spots are coming up.
Hey everyone, my name is Emily.
My name is Amanda. If you don't know who we are the Gale Force Twins. Today we are going to be talking about women and kids in fishing, but before we get into that, we are going to tell you a little bit about who we are and our story. We started fishing at a really young age, we started fishing around 9 or 10 years old. Every summer, our family would vacation to the Florida Keys, specifically Isla Mirada, and we were really mostly a sandbar, snorkeling, boating, salt life family. And our family was never really into fishing, but the two of us picked it up so quickly and gravitated towards it that everyone was really just surprised. All of a sudden, we were fishing every day, and it was never something that was really introduced to us. We really picked it up on our own.
Our parents were really supportive of us getting into fishing. Like I kind of said, that they introduced us to the ocean and snorkeling and diving and sandbars and really being out in the nature. But we really wanted to try fishing, so our parents were really supportive. They helped us get rods and reels and tackle. They didn't know how to tie knots. We were only 9 years old. We didn't know how to tie our knots either, but we went to the docks, we did our best, and we were catching the little baby snappers, we were catching stingrays and sharks, and just having a really great time fishing off the docks, basically.
All of this started while we were fishing off the docks, and we basically saw other kids fishing, and we said, hey, I really want to go do that. So thankfully, we had a very great support system to get us out there on the docks, and it really wasn't until our 13th birthday. You're everywhere in the Keys, you see these signs, and they say deep sea fishing. And we had no idea what that was
but
or what it meant.
We knew we wanted to do it.
We knew that deep sea fishing was the place to be. That was where the big dogs fished. So we begged our parents, we said, hey, for my 13th birthday, I really want to go deep sea fishing.
Our mom, she actually went out of her way. She emailed quite a few captains at the Whale Harbor Marina asking for basically some information on a fishing trip for her 13-year-old daughters. But the catch was that we told her that we don't want to go on a regular charter, we want to learn. We want to learn how to tie knots and hook our baits because we felt like we needed that knowledge. So she emailed all these captains, and one captain in particular went out of his way to tell her to wish us a happy birthday.
One captain in particular replied and said, yes, I will absolutely teach your daughters everything they need to know and tell them happy birthday. And so that was really, as a parent for her, was like, this is the captain that I want to take my daughters out with. And that was the first full offshore fishing experience we had. We went out yellowtailing, and we had such a great captain. He let us tie our own knots, made our own hooks, we were netting our own fish,
snappers, everything.
And if we lost a fish, if we messed up, it was all on us. And I think that was what really, that was a turning point for us, which was, wow, I really like this. I love how I can start at the very beginning, from tying my knot to baiting my hook to catching a fish, to hooking a fish, reeling it in, and landing it. And that was really where the passion began at such a young age. And we were so great to have such a supportive family that said, I don't know anything about fishing, but I'm going to do what I can to make sure you learn about it.
We continued to fish on charter boats. And as we got older, our parents started just sending us out. They didn't even come with. They were like, go have fun, go fish, have a good time. They would send us out for our birthdays and events like that. And it was there that we actually met a captain that we kind of got to know, and he told us, he was like, hey, you seem like you really enjoy this. You kind of have a knack for it. Why don't you come work for me one summer? And that was our first official job in the industry. And that question was an instant yes. There was no hesitation. We were like, oh my goodness, I totally want to do this.
And keep in mind, at this time, we were both in college. We were juniors in college, almost seniors, and we were pre-med. So we were ready to go to medical school and follow more of a traditional career, but we had this opportunity to do a summer job in the Florida Keys and Key West, and it just was such an instant yes. Neither of us questioned it. We were like, this is what I need to do. And that job was where we really realized that you could make a full career out of fishing. And I had absolutely no idea before this job. I hadn't had a degree yet, I hadn't graduated, and I was making money. It's like, I'm making so much money doing this, why am I gonna go to medical school? And so that was the first real job. It was on a sport fish in Key West. After we graduated, we really weren't sure what the next steps were because we were just trying so hard to stay.
We were trying hard to make our majors fit into a career path. And we were applying to internships and all these job opportunities, and our parents were actually the ones that encouraged us to get regular jobs. They were like, you've worked so hard getting your degree. We did sports in college, so we had no time to experience much other than our sports and our school, except for that literally one summer job. So they told us to get regular jobs. We went out there, we did, and that first job happened to be working for Skips tournaments and the custom shootout in the Bahamas, for 8 weeks, every other week. It was such a surprise.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call it a regular job, but
Yeah.
it was the job that we landed with, and that job also opened us to so much networking. And so first we had done charter fishing on a sport fish, and I was like, wow, I can make a career out of this. And then the next job was working fishing tournaments, and it was like, whoa, I didn't realize how many different levels of fishing there were. There's a competitive level, there's the charter fishing level, there's the recreational level. So just opened our eyes to all the next steps.
We continued to work on various charter boats down in the Florida Keys until at one point we decided that we wanted to go off on our own and start our own charter company. We found that there was a niche that we wanted to fill, and that was family-friendly fishing. There's a lot of charter boats down here. There's different niches that these charter boats fill. Some of them do families, some of them do trophy fish, and some do meat box fillers. But for us, we really wanted to take that family, wholesome environment and recreate it for our own charter company by taking toddlers out and kids out and moms and wives and just making sure they had a really great time and making sure that the fishing wasn't about getting fish in the box, but more so the experience as a whole.
We really found that we enjoyed teaching.
Yes,
So working
definitely.
on the other charter boats, we learned so much, and that when we went on our own, we said, well, I like this, I don't like this, and that was how we were able to create our charter business, which was Gale Force, and really focus on the teaching side of things, how to hook your baits. Because I think that's where we got started, and where we fell in love with it was that getting to do it all yourself, it makes your fish, your catch, that
More
much
valuable.
more valuable and more memorable. So for us, going out, whether it was teaching a 3-year-old how to hold a rod, which we've done that before, or teaching a parent how to land their own mahi.
Our most recent fishing event that we held was actually a ladies only fish camp. And that was such a fun experience. We had 12 ladies and 6 per boat. So I was on one boat, Amanda was on another. And yes, you had to be a lady to be on the boat. But what was so cool about it was that these women came from all over the state of Florida. Some flew in from Texas.
We had ladies from Virginia.
We did, yes,
We
you're
had
right.
ladies from everywhere. And this whole camp was teaching.
It wasn't about putting fish in the box. Of course, we actually did catch fish and we went to dinner and we all had it cooked. But the experience started with how to tie your knot, to how to throw a cast net, to, like Amanda was saying earlier, teaching kids how to hold a rod.
Well, in this camp was we did a lot of how to hook your live bait. They were catching Goliath groupers and sharks, and we caught a lot of red groupers and snappers. And so moving from the charter side, we had then gone on to starting fish camps, which is 2 full days, these were almost 10-hour days of hardcore learning. So there's so many different levels of fishing, and hosting this women's fish camp, we found we had so many girls reach out to us that we were able to book not only 1 weekend of fish camp, but 2 weekends, and both camps ended up with wait lists. So we are hoping to do more women's fish camps in the future, but we've just found that the learning and teaching side of things, there just needs to be more of it out there.
I think that's why we started our YouTube channel. We started our YouTube channel, Gale Force Twins, because we found that we really loved teaching, and when we upload these teaching videos, these educational videos, people really loved them and appreciated them. And they're not super boring teaching videos. We take you out there with us and you experience everything. So we're not gonna sit at a dock in a video and teach you the basics of fishing, because at the end of the day, every day is different. So we'll take you out for a whole video to a reef, to a wreck offshore, be like, oh, this happened today. This is why, this is how we fix it, or this is how we improve on it, or this is why it was perfect. Now we're gonna take this time and go into the topic of kids and fishing and answer some questions that we've had in the past from followers and charter clients asking about what age they should take their daughter or son out, or how to instill the passion of fishing into them.
The most common question, or a very common question we get that I think is a great one to talk about, is how old or how young can I start taking my kid fishing? Our personal opinion on that is the day they can walk. Literally, the day your kid can walk, you can buy those little teeny tiny ice fishing rods really just about anywhere. You can go to probably your local West Marine and get those tiny rods, or just get them a little kid's fishing rod.
And I think I want to also say that fishing, it doesn't have to be fishing on a boat or even a lake. Like Amanda said, get them the small rods, put a little fake lure on there with no hook, and have them cast it around in the backyard.
Or in the swimming pool. Or I was gonna say, take them out to your pond or your lake. Fishing is all about the experience and the fun, and when you have such a young kid trying, and you wanna get your, let's say it's your 3-year-old into it, and if you're not worried about taking them on a boat or what they're going to enjoy, just give them a little tiny rod and let them just cast and retrieve. Let them play with it. And those are really good building blocks for a little kid to start to grow, and as they catch their first bass, and maybe they catch their first snapper, and they catch their first shark off of a dock, you can quickly start to realize, okay, my kid's into this, now I'm gonna put them on a boat.
Another really common question or topic that we get asked about is how do I instill a passion in my kids? And at the end of the day, I think the answer is that you really don't. You can't force a passion.
I think that when you're taking your kids out fishing, you have to remember that it's all about them. If you're taking your kids out fishing, it has to be about them.
It can't be what you want them to catch or what you want for them. It's what they want. So if they want to sit there and cast and retrieve and catch nothing, then that's what they're going to do all day, because it needs to be their experience, not about the parents coming back and being like, my kid caught this bass. It needs to be what the kid actually wanted to do.
Some great tips that we've learned over the years from fishing with kids and even from talking to other parents who take their kids fishing. One of our favorites on our charter boats is we bring snackle boxes.
Yes,
So
they're called snackle boxes, but they are tackle boxes filled with snacks.
So you take a little tackle box, obviously the ones without any kind of coating inside of them, and you can fill one row with goldfish. We like to put Swedish fish in there, little gummy worms, and that's something that the kids love about fishing. And if they get bored and the bite's slow, they can eat their snackle box. Another great technique that we have found is very useful: if you have a kid, take them to your tackle store or your West Marine and tell them to pick out any fishing lure they want.
Even if you know it's not going to work, if they want the shiny pink one that you think is not going to work, let them use it, let them have it, let them feel like they were part of the process and that they can catch their fish on it, whether they do or don't.
Exactly. So when they pick out that lure that you know is not going to work, still troll it behind the boat. And then if it doesn't catch fish, as they get older, they're going to learn that, oh, well, that didn't catch fish. I want to get something that catches fish this time. But this way, they're feeling like they're a part of the entire process, and they get to learn as they grow.
Another way that I would recommend, and that we have talked to other parents about to getting your kids into the passion of fishing, is sometimes just to not even include fishing in the first place. Start by taking them out on the boat and taking them to get ice cream, taking them for a joyride, or letting them play in the live well with the live bait, even if the bait's gonna die.
If your kids are playing the live well and they're killing your live baits, just let them, because they're entertained and they're having a good time. It gives them the whole experience, and I think that's what fish needs to be about, especially with kids. Take them on the boat. If they get bored of fishing, okay, we're gonna take the boat to go get a cheeseburger, or we're gonna go for a joyride, or we're gonna now go to the sandbar. It's something that I really think is important. If at any minute your kids get seasick, we take them in.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think my pet peeve, as having been a charter captain before, is that when we're out on the water and the kids are sick and the parents don't go in. If the day is about the kid, it's about the kid. If the kid is sick, you go in. If they're bored, if they're done, you go in. You don't want to create a bad experience for them for something that could ruin a lifetime of fishing.
The next topic we are going to move on to is women in fishing. And this is one that we're very passionate about, being women in fishing ourselves. But we know, and we will agree with a lot of the ladies if they're watching this, that there's a lot of intimidation going into the sport. And really not just for ladies, but for any new anglers out there trying to get into fishing, there's a lot of intimidation.
And I wouldn't even say just fishing, but boating as well.
Boating as well. And so we're gonna start by giving you guys some tips on how to get past that intimidation and really how to get started, because it is, like I said earlier, it is so many different levels. There's recreational, there's charter, there's professional, there's tournaments. There's so many different levels of fishing, and being a recreational person watching it, being how do I get started? So we're gonna go ahead and give you guys some tips on really where to start.
Something that we experienced when we got into fishing was, quite obviously, it's a male-dominated industry. That's no secret at all. But what would happen is we would go to these tackle stores and we would have the people behind the counter telling us what we needed to buy. And we would go in there determined, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna go try it. But then you go in there and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of lures, hooks, lines, leader class, everything.
The options are endless. It is very overwhelming.
And then you get outside opinions of people starting to tell you, oh, you should fish with that, you should fish with this, and you walk out of the tackle store realizing you got nothing that you wanted, and you don't really know how to use the stuff that the people told you to get.
And I'll say, to this day, it actually happened to me literally 2 weeks ago. I went into a specific tackle store looking for circle hooks, and this store didn't have the circle hooks I wanted. So the guy behind the counter was trying to help me out. I know they meant well, but I ended up leaving with these live bait J hooks that I didn't want. I walked out of the store and I was like, this isn't what I wanted. And so I think something to remember going into this is everybody in the fishing world thinks their way is the best way, but you really have to listen to yourself. Buy what you want, follow your gut on this, and learn. If what you're buying is wrong, you'll learn for yourself. I think that's really good advice on fishing, is really experimenting for yourself. The very first time the two of us went out fishing alone, we were going offshore for mahi, and we were young, but we were definitely a little bit nervous. It was like two of us by ourselves going out on this boat.
It's intimidating. The ocean is unforgiving.
It is huge, it's unforgiving. And I remember this day, like to this day, we were going out fishing and I said to myself, you know, I'm kind of nervous to lose sight of land. And at the time we said, you know what, I am too. Let's stay within sight of land. And that day, we ended up fishing the entire day within 200 feet of water, so that's out in the Florida Keys. We stayed within sight of land the entire day. And for us, being able to go out, go fishing, catch some fish, and head back in, all within our comfort zone.
And before going offshore and fishing with inside of land, we started out bridge fishing. We would
Yes.
take the boat to a bridge and fish a bridge.
That's true. I think that was also in the very beginning, fishing the flats. Even if I didn't know what I was fishing for
We would
or what I
chum,
was looking for.
try and catch snappers or sharks or anything that showed up. It really wasn't about going large and getting the mahi and the tuna in the box. We started small. We started with bridge fishing. Then we moved on to offshore, but staying within sight of land until we were comfortable to really running offshore and never seeing land.
Exactly. So I think the moral of the story is to really stay within your comfort zone, and as you grow and get more experience, you'll be more comfortable going out further, going to deeper waters, running further from land.
I think that you can even apply this to if it's not fishing, or if you're even intimidated to go fishing, take the boat out for a joyride. Go, like we talked about with kids, go get cheeseburgers, go get ice cream. Just start simple. Maybe take the boat out, drive around, dock it a few times, and get comfortable.
The last piece of advice that I'm gonna give to you ladies, or really any beginner fisherman that is watching this, is don't be afraid.
I think this advice applies to everyone, not just beginners
You're
and
right.
ladies.
You say it.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes, literally to this day, if I'm going out fishing and trying something new, I will call up friends, I will call up captains. This has happened recently where we were fishing in waters that we had never fished before. I reached out to my circle. I said, hey, I'm fishing this water, what do I do? And asking for help can be a game changer. Remember, the help can be overwhelming, but take what you can from it.
Take pieces and bits of it and apply it to yourself.
Exactly. So actually what happened in the past couple of years, when we were working on charter boats, several different charter captains had told us you really need to invest in an anchor ball.
We didn't. We had used them on other boats, but we hadn't had one for ourselves. So we went to West Marine. It was actually the West Marine in Key West, and we brought them the picture from the internet of what we wanted. We were like, I want this anchor ball.
I want this anchor ball. I'm not sure exactly how to rig it.
So they spliced the line for us. We talked it through. They said we want about this many feet of line with this carabiner. They spliced it. We came back, and it was ready to go for us.
And that was an area where, like I said, we had used anchor balls before, but never had built one for ourselves for our own boat. So after doing some research on the internet, printing out some pictures, watching some YouTube videos, we literally walked into the store and said, can you help me with this? And sometimes it's gonna be very helpful. Most of the time it will be. For our last topic, we are gonna talk about how fishing has brought so much joy and kept us so busy during a crazy time during this pandemic. Our lives were flipped completely upside down.
That is so true.
We had gone from full-time charter boat captains. After the holidays, we were running, we ran, I think, 14 trips in like 8 days.
It was
during the
pretty insane.
holidays. We were booked all the time, taking kids out, families out, running charters, doing all that, and then I believe it was March, right?
It was in
March?
It was earlier than March, because it was before our birthdays.
It was before our birthdays, so when all this went down, when COVID happened, we lost all of our charters.
It was scary. We didn't know what to do. Literally, we had cancellation after cancellation, and we looked at each other, and we were like, whoa, what do we do now?
What do we do now?
So we decided that we had to create work for ourselves. We said, you know what, we're gonna create 9 to 5 jobs, and the best thing we could think of was to focus on marketing. So what we started doing was filming, editing, and producing our own YouTube videos, creating educational and fun, adventurous fishing videos.
And what this did for us was literally Monday through Friday, because we had gone from chartering every single day to nothing. And I don't know about you guys, but we don't do very well just sitting and doing nothing.
I'm sure a lot of people were going a little stir crazy.
Monday through Friday, it said, okay, it's time to get up, go film a fishing video. We're gonna teach everybody. And we would come home, we would take all that footage, we would edit this video, post it to YouTube. And we did this every single day for 4 months straight.
Pretty much.
Every day it was fish, film, edit, produce, all the way through. And that was such a game changer for us. The best part was it kept us busy. We found so much joy out of it. It was, honestly, COVID could have been the best thing for us.
Yes.
Because since that day, we now have a YouTube channel where we continue to create these educational fishing videos. Some of them are fun adventure videos, going out to Boston, catching bluefin tuna, and some of them are how to tie the uni knot. Some of them are how to go catch mahi from beginner, 5-minute videos to advanced 20-minute planer fishing videos. We have created this whole library on our YouTube channel, and it has given us a job. And not only that, but it's been something that we can share with the world.
Yeah, exactly. I think what's really cool about that is as much as we have loved having people on our boat, in all reality, we could only have 4 people at one time. But on YouTube, we are reaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people within one 10-minute video. And that for us is priceless, really. So that's why, now that COVID's happened, we've really been focusing on continuing to create these educational fishing YouTube videos. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and if you can't get to your local West Marine right now to ask some of those burning questions, we are going to be on Instagram live, so you guys can ask us your questions. So make sure you hop over to West Marine's Instagram page, come join us. We're going to be answering questions for you. Thanks so much for watching the seminar and joining us.
Another black belly rosefish.
These guys are so lit up. They're so pretty.
That's just
I love
crazy.
them. I love them.
I love the way these fish look.